Call a meeting to order. Today's date is September 4th, 2018, and we have one regular agenda item, and it's the City Council will conduct a public hearing on the fiscal year 2018-2019 proposed tax rate. Any citizens who wish to speak, please come forward and give Alicia a...
Do I have any? I haven't had any forms turned in.
Is there anybody that wishes to speak on the budget? We'll open the public hearing.
Yeah. Does anyone wish to speak on the budget?
Why we want to raise the taxes?
You need to do a form.
Yeah.
It's procedure.
That was my whole question.
I got it. If you come to the podium.
You can put right here on the podium if you want. Here's a pen. I gave him.
Need here.
Get the one that don't work on.
Here you go.
Yes, sir.
Try that one.
It's just sitting right there at the mic, if you don't
that
mind.
microphone right there. Just your name and your address, please.
My name is Jim Stanley, and my address is 113 Spanish Oak Road.
Okay.
It's right down the road here. And my question is, what are we raising the taxes for? Why are we doing this?
Okay.
I know it's not a whole lot. I saw what the point, whatever it is, yeah.
Yes, sir.
But I'd like an explanation on, why we're doing this. Is it because you guys don't want to pay a raise, or is it, there's a lot of questions there,
Yeah. Definitely.
So, the proposed rate that went in the paper is what I assume you're talking about.
Right.
The way the state statute reads is that if we put in a certain number in the paper, we cannot go above that number. So if we put in, like we did this year, 4%, we cannot assess a rate higher than 4%. We can always come off of it, but we can never go above it. The budget that you have here has the exact same revenues with the exact same rate. So the budget we have prepared for council does not include a tax rate. We give the city council the flexibility, should they choose to raise the rate to pay for certain things, such as additional firemen, which was the case the other day. Should they choose to do that in their infinite wisdom, well, they have that flexibility. If we do not put that rate out there, then we are hamstrung we're locked in at a certain number.
We haven't made that decision yet.
I got that. But I've been coming to some of these meetings here lately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have approved a lot of building. There's a lot more taxes coming in with businesses and everything else.
Yes, sir.
So, to me, why isn't that offsetting raising my taxes or these folks' taxes? I mean, where's that tax money going?
So you have new value coming in. You have some new developments coming in.
Right.
I need to turn this off. I apologize. We have approximately, and I don't have the tax numbers in front of me. We had approximately $14 million in new value come into the city. We also had additional tax, what's called tax frozen value. So when you take advantage of the 65 and older exemption, you take off a number of those properties as well. Certainly not 14 million. I don't want to give that impression, but there's some give and take there. The same rate will generate approximately about $100,000 to $115,000 more in revenue just because of the increase in values. That's the number that we have plugged into this budget. Unless council directs me to do so, we do not plan on raising the tax rate. I was simply giving the council the ability to raise the tax rate.
All right.
So that this budget as is does not have a tax rate increase.
We calculated our ad valorem levy at 0.3084, which is the current M&O tax rate.
Right. I think I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
One more question. This is supposed to be a public hearing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And less than 600 people probably in Willow Park know about this. Why can't we put this word out to everybody gets the word? I mean, you advertised it
Can I answer that
legally,
question?
I know you did.
Can I answer that question? Do you have you have a follow-up?
Well, you put it in the community news, I mean, I saw it. But the last time I checked, well, there was only less than 550 people in Willow Park to take it.
Are you done with his questions? I got an answer for you. I just don't want you to ask another one.
I figured you had to go ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
First of all, the community news is the paper of record for the city of Willow Park, has been for a number of years.
Right.
We're required to advertise it. We've ran the notice twice, which is one more time than we're required to by state statute.
Right.
Furthermore, we put it out on Facebook. I think we put it out on Instagram. Is that correct? Twitter, Instagram. We reached about every social media platform. Furthermore, I also know that our social media presence has been shared and retweeted and liked by a number of folks. Now, if the issue is
I
that,
don't see those folks here.
well, I can tell you that this is the largest crowd I've ever had for a tax rate hearing.
Well, I can tell you, to me, you know, something smells in Willow Park when this is all you can get. I mean, that's a good gig you got because you can do what you want. And you're not getting the consensus of all the folks that live here.
Is your issue that we advertise in the community news?
No, I don't care where you advertise it. But
Is
I
that-
mean, you could put a flyer out, it's just as simple as that.
Well, let me ask you a question.
What would that
Other-
cost you?
To print up 5,000 flyers and go door to door and put them on everybody's door?
Put them in the mail.
Actually costs more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you know how we used to do it here? Everybody gets a garbage bill or a water bill or both.
So
Put
your
it in there.
your suggestion is that we print up flyers, we mail them out.
Just mail it with the garbage bill or the water bill.
Okay.
Everybody gets it. And then you can honestly sleep at night saying, everybody, these people, these are the property owners because they're paying the water bill. Got the information on what's going on in the city. Because there's a lot been going on here, and I guarantee you, there is a lot of people here that don't know what goes on.
Such as?
Do you have a certain accusation you'd like to make?
Well, when we're doing all that, I've been to some of these zoning boards. There's a lot of people that don't know that's going on. There's a lot of people that don't know what you're doing. That we're trying to get a restaurant in over there across the freeway. You'd be surprised how many people don't know that. How could they? How could
Please.
they know it? You know, I'm
I
not saying there's nothing wrong. I'm just saying, you're not doing the people.
How did you
that
find out
voted you
about
in here
How did you find
any
out about the
favors.
meeting?
Pardon?
How did you find out about the meeting?
Community news. I found out about the community news when I came down here 6 months ago.
Did you share it with your neighbors? Did you
I've
go
got
not,
two neighbors and they
Did-
know it, yeah.
Did you share it with your friends?
One of my neighbors, well, he don't pay taxes, he's 100% disabled. The other one,
He has a right to
he
come.
texted me and told me he wasn't coming
Why?
because his granddaughter's having a baby today.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, there are other people.
So, you know, but that doesn't say about the other 5,000 some odd people that live here.
Mr. Stanley, information has been a huge push for me from whenever I got involved 3 years ago. Let me finish, please. We pumped out information like crazy, like never before in Willow Park's history, right? But democracy is a participatory form of government. We can put the information out there 110 times. But you have to participate. You, sir, have chosen to, and I applaud you for that because you came forward with a complaint. You actually had a solution with your outbuildings, but not everybody is going to come.
I understand that, and that's not my problem. The problem is the word's not getting there.
It
For them
has-
to have the choice.
It has gotten out there. We have exhausted every avenue shy of knocking on doors. Look at how many people know that this meeting is going on. There is social media chatter about us, but people don't show up.
Social
We
media, I
can't
mean,
force people to
I'm almost
do it.
70 years old, and I have no idea.
Well, the newspaper worked for you,
You know, the
correct?
only reason why I
The
have a Facebook
newspaper-
account is to see my grandkids' pictures on it.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, not everybody has social media.
Do you have any other concerns
I'm
on?
sure, no, that's it. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate the time.
Anybody else?
Brian, I didn't sign up for it, I didn't plan on speaking, but The gentleman was talking about, social media. A lot of people do not do social media. Let me finish before. And the city uses it to put a lot of information out, I understand that. But he had an excellent idea about dropping notices in the water bill wouldn't cost you a penny more, just a copy bill.
We,
It's hard to talk to y'all when all I get is smirks from different people. But
Well, we're
I'm
doing-
not finished unless they haul me off, okay?
we're doing the math, Fred. That's
There
exactly
are
what I'm
other-
doing.
Other people out, there are other ways to get this out. And the gentleman's right, there's a lot of people that do not know about the meetings. They don't take that little newspaper, they don't come up here and read the post. And, I come up and pay my water bill, I see what's going on at the city, and a lot of people don't do that, they work. I'm fortunate enough, good Lord, to give me the time to retire. But if you had on your website a community forum, which someone suggested not long ago, and you put it there, you wouldn't have to lean on social media.
Is it on the website, Alicia?
You go on there, I
This-
challenge you to go on there and see how antiquated and out of date everything is. It's out of date.
Alicia, can you, well,
It's fact.
have you,
Anyway,
when's the last time you've been to our website, Mr. McCauley?
It's just sad to sit out here and I see why people don't come because.
The meeting's posted on the website.
Y'all are already predetermined how you're gonna go. This is just a formality. People have been here before. You made a comment a while ago. It's the largest crowd you ever been. You ain't been here a year yet. So how can you make that statement?
It's the largest
I've been
crowd.
up here when this room was full. I've been up to meetings when the
tax
church.
hearings.
was
I've been on this
You were
council
part
for
of it.
5 years, and this is the biggest audience I've seen for a budget meeting in 5 years.
I've been to some that's bigger than this. so
For a
I-
budget
Yeah, a budget
hearing.
I
meeting.
don't know. We had one that was, at the church.
That was for wastewater. I was
That
there for
was
that.
a different
That's a
subject.
different subject.
It doesn't matter. A subject of the city is a subject of a public meeting is a public meeting. The word's not getting out.
No, I disagree.
What would, outside of mailing everybody and putting a flyer on everybody's door, do you have another suggestion?
No, I don't expect the city to spend the money to send it to everybody's door, but they did with the water thing. They put like a citation on the door. Now that costs you some money to get nothing in return. I would suggest you just drop it in the water bill.
Here's
You're gonna have a
the issue.
public-
Here's the issue I see. In 5 years, everybody knows when it's time to vote, right? So when elections come around, maybe 250 to 300 people at most vote in most of these elections for city
I
council.
see that. That's sad. That's pretty sad.
So for this percentage to show up for a meeting is pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's the problem, is activity and participation in the process.
But that's still no excuse for not getting the word out.
I-
I'm sorry.
This
That's
is,
not-
Flat no
We're not
this
gonna,
is devolving.
This-
Yes,
This
we're not.
is devolving. We're not
Any
getting
other
anywhere.
comments on the budget?
Where people have come to the meeting and they'll no longer come because they said, just like I mentioned there a while ago, and see the smirk on your face when you talk. Nobody likes to be humiliated in public, and I'm not trying to humiliate anybody. But I'm telling you, sitting out here and been to a lot of council meetings before this city council's up here. I used to see a gentleman here and went on that end, and you were a part of it. And when people would get up and speak, he could, they just kind of like, this facial expression, I call them smirks. And people are not stupid out here. They see that. They know that you already have your mind made up. They're wasting their time. So guess what? They don't come. I've talked to my neighbors.
Well, Fred-
One of them used to be a city council member. One of them used to be a mayor.
Fred, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you have any suggestions on the budget?
No,
If we're wasting your time, do you have suggestions on the budget? Is there anything you would like for us to do? Is there any action you would like for us to consider?
On the budget,
Yes, sir.
I haven't heard anything yet.
We're asking your opinion.
My opinion is.
Yes, sir.
I'm all about lower taxes. Let me
Okay.
tell you- Let me tell you about the taxes where some of us can spend for this city. Wasted money. 5 or 4 years ago, none of y'all, well, one I guess is gonna own up to it, sent 4 of our public works people to California, to get lessons on how to build potholes.
It was Arizona, actually.
Airplane.
Technically, Fred, it was Arizona.
Let me tell you, airplane tickets out there, taxpayers' money paid for that. If you're not a good steward of our money as taxpayers, I guess we all have, I'm surprised y'all don't have a problem. You know, you come in the community from another place, that's good. We're glad to have new blood in here. But also, wish you would have brought new blood that had looked out for the residents that's been here a long time and have acreage up on the north end of town where we got potholes this deep, but we got a new concrete road running down out here. So spend the taxpayers' money wisely, spend it as you would spend your own money, and I'd say that's my contribution for a tax deal. Every one of you.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. McCollum?
Lives within a budget. Live within your means. Yes, sir, ask me.
Have you ever addressed those concerns to a council member prior to 2016?
Prior to when?
Have you ever addressed those concerns at a council meeting prior to 2016?
I've addressed those issues for 7 years in this community.
Have you been to tax rate hearings before and budget hearings before? Have you participated in a meeting like this in previous years?
Budget.
Have you ever asked how much money the city allocated for pothole repair?
What I do know about pothole repairs is they spend a lot of money because I see the trucks running around with a little asphalt on the back and the shovel going whoop, whoop, and that's not how you build potholes.
Have you ever asked how much the city has allocated for pothole
No,
repair?
sir, I haven't. It's a direct question.
Okay.
And I don't know how that would add to our conversation.
Because this budget contains $100,000
For filling potholes?
for street repair.
I would not suggest that your budget could be less and you get a better job out of it if they were properly done. My example about the guys going out of town where they train this, the county that train them over there, they do a pretty decent job. They do. When the county goes around and does potholes, they do a good job. When the city goes around, they just dump in. I'm not personally attacking anybody. If it's worth doing, I was raised, it's worth doing right. And the proper way to clean a pothole out is, first of all, get all the loose paraphernalia out of that pothole to start with, irrigate it a little bit with something that would make it stay in the hole, like oil, hot oil or something like that, and then you put it in and compact it. Now,
May I, Raymond?
then you don't have to go back every 6 months or 3 months to do it. It's done. So what I'm saying, if you're going to spend the money to do it right, Brian. Don't
Actually, sir,
spend it
that's-
with a lick and a promise.
Actually, that's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it,
Oh, I'm telling
Okay,
you.
okay.
well, no, you're right.
76 years old, tell me how smart you are. Go ahead.
You don't take a square, you don't put a circle, you square it off and you cut it. You make a perfect
If you
square.
wanna go to the next
You can't
level.
put oil in it because the EPA is going to have a conversation with you
Okay,
about
go
that.
tell the county that.
Okay.
They use a different, you put an emulsion in there.
I mean, let's see it.
Um,
I'm glad you're so intelligent about this, so that way you can go teach our guys how to.
I've spent 10 years doing this. There's different ways of filling the pothole. You can fill it with the material that I like that Raymond uses,
You can dump a shovel in there and walk right down the road.
Which our guys do not do.
which our guys do not do.
Our guys do not do that.
Okay, I got your message too, and your message is, anytime somebody speaks up, you're gonna talk them down. You talk this gentleman down.
No, sir.
Yes, you did.
No, sir.
May I?
So, we're getting off track.
Yes,
Yes.
we're off track here.
So-
There's $100,000 put aside for potholes. You say it needs to be done right. We could have allocated $100,000 for potholes because you get what you pay for. So we're addressing that.
So come up to my part of town and
So I-
drive over 20 miles an hour and see what happens to your front end of your car.
Right, and Fred, and this is something I'm hoping to gain, right, is, we contracted with the county, to resurface roads, right? And we're gonna continue
They done
that.
a good job on Vista.
And, yeah, and I wanna continue getting that in our budget every year, right? Because the more often we resurface these roads when they need it, then the less maintenance we have to deal with in between, right? That's where I hope to get. And so, in the meantime, we kinda gotta get there. But I understand what you're saying, don't get me wrong, I understand. We just gotta get it in our budget, in our plan, to start cycling these roads.
I appreciate that. So there, someone though, as far as back to the tax deal, the taxpayers' money's going for that, and you're gonna budget maybe over or under, I don't know for it, but I've got, Owens High School, a good friend of mine's Mayor Lake Work. We had this discussion last week. They budget for their type of road repairs over, just like you're suggesting. They have someone that's in their public works department that actually goes out and selects the road, drives the community, and those roads that are in most need of repairs are the ones that get worked on.
Yes, sir.
If you go up to the north end of town, I challenge, Brian, you've probably never been up there, but drive up by the public works building and just go a little bit past it, and you'll find out that those streets up there are in really bad.
We did Vista with the county. We got Buena Vista online to be repaired. They're probably going to try to start this week. I don't think that's going to happen with the rain. Buena Vista wasn't even an afterthought until about 45 days ago. So we know that we have challenges up on the north side of town to get those roads fixed and repaired.
I can tell you Crown Road is not safe for 2 cars to pass. If a fire truck was coming down that road by the water tank and I met up with it, I'm going to end up with vehicle damage.
She's talking about Indian Camp now.
Oh, okay.
Right, Indian Camp.
I'm trying to think where the water tank is on Crown Road. So.
Both sides of the asphalt are just eroded away.
It's deep. It's over almost a foot deep on one
Okay.
side. Either if I take on that ditch, I'm going to end up with vehicle damage. If an emergency vehicle is coming at me, there's no way for a vehicle, 2 vehicles to pass in that area safely. Fortunately, what Gary said is we are planning ahead.
Yeah.
Gary,
We're
getting to that point, and what's bringing it in is we're fortunate. We're in an exciting time right now. We are in an exciting time right now, Mr. McCauley, because we have sales tax. We have record sales tax, and that's what's going to fix the roads. That's what's fixing the roads, are this record sales tax. And the more it comes in, the more we're able to budget, the more we're able to do these streets. It's either hike the taxes way, way, way up to fix all the roads at once, or we are working on it. You see things getting done. You've recognized Vista looks great. Things are happening. Things are happening, and they have not happened before in Willow Park's history. And so I believe, Mr. McCauley.
A lot of that's been done, in the works, quite frankly, before.
Do what was? What?
Some of those roads, we were talking about it 5 years ago about putting stuff.
But they're being
together
done
with the
now.
county. But the present administration that was here didn't get along with the county.
Yeah, now we do.
They didn't.
But we do now.
And I suggested to P&Z, as the commissioner of the P&Z, years ago, that's what they are doing. Those guys are good at doing county.
Mr.
roads.
McCauley, we are on target with everything that you're wanting to do. That's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. We're on target with that. We can't jump in a time machine and fix everything in the past. But the proof will be in the pudding. I've told you that before. So as we move forward, we've got the plans. It's in the budget. I hear that you approve of what I'm hearing is that you approve that we are budgeting and looking to the future for road repair. So we'll get there.
And the whole conversation started about being good stewards of taxpayers, not
Yes, sir.
spending wisely.
Yes, sir. That's what's happening.
That's what my story is.
Yes, thank you.
And
You got so much money to work with, make everything work within that. Don't overspend over here and overspend down there. We probably should have put off the new facility over being built.
That money can't go to
But
roads.
no, we had to go first.
No, that
No,
money
that's
cannot
not-
go
that's
to
not
roads.
Mr. McCauley, I was on the bond committee and I disagree. That building that sits over there right now that they are in was constructed in 1971. It's a pole, it's a tilt, it's a pole tilt barn. It was never intended for people to live in it, and it's beyond its
But
means.
a little bit of money would have.
No, there is no money in that building.
It has a
You have circuits that are fried together. You have parts of the second floor that has collapsed. You have stairs that do not meet current standards. The bay is not long enough for the fire trucks. We have to order special fire trucks because the bay doors are not tall enough. And what we're building over there is what's not going to just be for the next 5 years, but it's going to be for the next 40 years. And it is not extravagant. It is a simple building that meets our current needs and our future needs. And it was something that over 65% of the population voted for.
I got it. But originally that bond was not for that building. Originally, I was CMZ when we brought this up and brought forward a bond to do the roads and that new sewer upgrade.
The sewer upgrade was not.
Roads and a new.
Not true.
No, sir.
Not true.
No, sir.
So, but
That
to
is
get
not
to your
true.
point, Fred, I mean, our intent is we want to get to the point where, yes, we don't want to raise taxes. You know, we want to get to the point where we lower taxes. You know, because as we get more retail and more businesses in, as the infrastructure can handle it, then we can start reducing our tax burden and offset that with the sales tax. That's where I want to get. You know, we're just not there yet, but hopefully this will be the first year in a while we don't raise taxes.
Like I said, as far as the tax rate's concerned, the budget number that you have was calculated based on the existing tax rate as it is. And as I said in the cover page of the budget, which was made available to everybody, is that the individual tax owners may, or homeowners may pay more in property tax because their particular,
Because of the valuation.
their value went up. We did not raise the tax rate. And I know that's splitting hairs with some folks, but that's just the way it is. I can't control the value, I can't control the rate. You know, the whole conversation was, if you allow that, for that tolerance, if you will, of 4%, do you want to add, I mean, I think the whole conversation last time was, do you want to add firemen?
Right, and we're getting critical.
And I think we are critical, and me and Chief Lenore had a conversation before the budget workshop. We had a conversation after the budget workshop, and we even visited with them about it today. It is something that we've got to figure out how to plan for. And I've told Mike, you know, firemen are the most expensive personnel you're going to have just because of the equipment and everything that's required of them. And I think he's doing a great job being short-staffed. He's a hell of a fire chief.
Do we have any other comments on the budget?
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
You talk about the firemen?
Yes, sir.
Now, when they get done with this over there, is that gonna raise our rating?
The ISO
Yeah.
should go. Will it impact it at all?
You need a second full functioning fire
Fluctuation,
station.
yeah.
You have to have two functioning fire stations before that really
Yeah.
impacts the rate.
Yeah.
So Brian, does this budget have, money set in there to do some more improvement back there? I'm sure the county's not doing that for free.
You talking about road? Yes, sir. It does.
Yeah, the hundred.
That's what the 100,000's for.
It's for,
100,000. We.
Just potholes?
no, that's full road
That's
reconstruction.
That's full road repair. We've got other money set aside for potholes. We wanted to see, I really, being my first interaction with the county, I wanted to see what kind of product they could do. For the record, I'm very impressed with what they did on Vista. I think it's as good as any contractor we're going to get out here. I wish I could use them on the church parking lot over at Father Jay's, is it Episcopal or? St. Francis. But we can't use it.
All of our roads, was that good, you know, not all, I mean, just half that good up there in the north end of this community. I mean, you wouldn't see a bunch of people down there like me that tired of driving through potholes.
I can tell
And
you,
they're patting you on the back for doing a good job.
when
I'd rather brag on you than I had to come up here and brag on you.
I understand.
I'll tell you that.
I can tell you that if you just look at functionally what our street repair is going to be in the future, it's
You have
not.
streets identified within your budget, which ones you're gonna work on?
I think most of the streets are going to be on the north side of town, just simply for this matter. We don't have a lot of asphalt streets in Hunters Glen. We don't have any in Hunters Glen. We don't have any in Willow Park.
Not all the new stuff, but
Bankhead's county maintained. Ranch House is concrete from Fox Trail all the way down, and will probably end up being concrete all the way back down to I-20 at some point. Squaw Creek has been identified as a residential arterial street. That will probably end up being concrete at some point. So will Crown, all the way to, where it's eventually going to intersect with Crown Point. That'll probably end up being in concrete. What I'm getting at is most of, I don't want to say all, but most of, overwhelmingly 3/4 will be towards the north side of town. Anything north of Fox Trail, Squaw Creek, that area will see the majority of road repair funds in the future. Obviously not in this year or the next year or whatever. As far as identifying, we have some CIP plans that Derek's worked on. I think he's actually briefed council about it maybe January?
That sounds right.
November, maybe?
I think January was when we had the update.
Yeah. So we've identified some residential areas that we need to take care of. And also just me driving up in that area that we've got some streets that we need to work on. We also need to identify some drainage projects that we've got to do across town.
And some of that's been taken care of when they took care of Oak, was it Oak? Live Oak and Crown used to put over there, but the city went out and did a good job about 2 years ago, put the culvert under the street, got the bar ditches run, and it don't overflow the road now. We don't have a matter of fact, Amy helped get that done. I remember that, when you were probably the first 2 weeks on the council.
Well, I went out there
There was
for
a
the,
new house down there.
yeah, Jerry, I went up there and the county was gonna change all that out so it doesn't flood. There are a lot of other areas though, Fred, that have the same problem. We've got a lot of drainage mitigation problems. Bottom line, I mean, we could go on and on and on. Bottom line, we're getting there. We're gonna get there. All the new stuff coming in, I'm gonna tell you, all the new stuff coming in is gonna work for the people who are already here. Because the new neighborhoods, concrete, we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to put that in the budget to repair. New neighborhoods, so let's move forward, okay? And we're gonna get it done.
One more comment. With Brian's expertise about building potholes, maybe you and Raymond could sit down and have a nice little one and let him know that licking a promise, don't get it with pothole repairs, and you won't have to go back so often.
We have a
I
tremendous,
mean, seriously, and then hitting every other one down the road, one over here, one over there, you just went past six. Anyway, you're wasting your city taxpayers' money.
The problem with the roads that we've identified over the past several years is the roads were never constructed properly to start with.
Yes.
So they will always fall apart.
Yes.
We have tried many different techniques on those roads and it doesn't work. Asphalt is not a way to go, especially for the main arteries. That's why we got rid of it on Ranch House. So you can argue all you want, but the roads were constructed incorrectly 40 years ago.
Trying to bring a point. The new access roads they're putting down 20 out there, there'll be asphalt overlays. You know why they do that? They put the concrete underneath. You know why they do that?
They do that so they can come back and maintain it every 5 years.
And when that concrete busts, water's gonna seep underneath it, and you'll be down there with tar filling up cracks in less than 5 years on that road.
Hey Norm, what exactly is your job title that you do?
So, concrete is not the answer.
It is the answer.
Our ground moves around.
And concrete is the only answer for these roads. We have spent way too much money on asphalt and it is a waste of time.
Money on Ranch House Road.
I disagree.
we're going to have to agree to disagree on concrete.
It's a poor decision from the city to do what they've done.
We put asphalt up on the north end by Crown Road and it fell apart within a year. That was
Never
why.
been done properly, Greg. I'm sorry to tell you that. A thin overlay of asphalt.
That was what was planned on.
Is not a proper overlay.
That was what was in the bond, was a 2-inch overlay over a cement stabilized base. That was what was in the bond.
Not properly done.
But that was what was in the bond, because that is the COG standard for a collector roadway. What we went with was, instead of the 2-inch asphalt, we put 6 inches reinforced concrete on top of the 8 to 12 inches of cement stabilized base. That road's not gonna move around. It's not gonna go anywhere. We're not gonna have any problems on that road.
It's gonna move. I built too many houses and no.
Because what is your job title, Norm, real quick?
I'm a senior project engineer and I've been dealing in transportation for over 15 years.
Anyway, just spend our money wisely. Like
We
you
are.
spend your own.
Any more questions?
Any other questions? All right.
I move that.
I'll close the
Yeah.
public hearing.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other
Motion
announcements?
to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Oh, one quick announcement. We will have another hearing on the tax rate September the 11th at 6:30 prior to the city council meeting at 7 o'clock.
September 11th?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Tuesday.
And we will adopt the tax rate and the budget on September the 18th at 6:30.
Who's gonna get the word out? Who's gonna go door to door?
It's in the newspaper, it's all over the place. I encourage you to bring all your friends.
Need a motion to
Do
adjourn?
we have a motion to adjourn?
I move it.
A second. All right, all in favor? All right, so moved.